My name is Libuso Tokelo. I'm from Lefike. Today I will be presenting the topic that is inflation. I will be presenting inflation. Someone who open the mic. Today's topic will be inflation. As we can see, my learners, I normally call the grade 12 candidates because of they are already our seniors and they are about to exit the school. So I will call them my colleagues. Colleagues, as you can see, then we have a trolley there with a grocery. Down there we have coins. These coins, as you can see, it's like a step ladder. They started small until they become big. As you can see, that tells that first time the person who was buying that grocery was using only 5 coins. Maybe that year was using only 5 coins. Then as the years goes by, the coins increase, but the grocery in the trolley stays the same. The grocery on the trolley stays the same. That shows the money is losing power, but the grocery remains the same. And the more the money is losing power, is the more you're gonna use more money to buy the same item that you used to buy with a small amount. Let's proceed to terminologies. Define and explain inflation. The inflation is a general increase in prices of goods and services over a period of time. Let us understand the word general. The word general here. The word general. The general. It tells us that over a period of time, general increase, it can be over monthly, month to month, or a year to year. This topic focuses on the price increase of goods and services, of goods and services, of goods and services. It simply means that whatever you are buying this year with, for example, 200, next year it won't be the same amount again because of inflation. That takes us back to general increase, whereby things will increase year to year. Therefore, we have an inflation rate. It is the percentage change, normally increase in the cost of goods from year to year or month to the next. This simply means it goes hand in hand with an inflation. Inflation is an amount, but when we talk of an inflation rate, we talk of a percentage, whereby we have to break the percentage to amount. We will see as we proceed with the work examples. Here we have learning outcomes or objectives. After this topic, learners should be able to do the learning outcomes or the objective, calculations and skills. Learners should be able to calculate the rate of inflation, whereby the formula will be new price minus old price divided by old price multiplied by 100. Sometimes this formula, it doesn't appear like this, whereby they will say new price or minus old price. It will say price difference. It will say price difference divided by old price multiplied by 100. Learners should know in mathematical literacy, when we say the word difference, we minus so that it cannot be a new thing. But at the level of grade 12, I'm surely 100% that learners know when we talk of difference, we minus. Because of it's an inflation, we're gonna minus high price with the small price here, if it appears as price difference. because of learners won't be able to identify the new price or the old price. So if it says price difference, know that you're gonna minus the new price with the old price. Sometimes they don't say new price, they say current price. You're gonna minus the current price with old price. Therefore, use formula for percentage change to find new price or original price given on inflation rate. It's whereby we're gonna say the price, we talk of a rate. A rate is a percentage. A rate is a percentage. For a typical example, they will say the milk was 6 rand, therefore it has increased with 5%. Therefore, you have to work out to this 5% to give us the new price of the milk. To give us the new price of the milk. That is what learners should know, to use the formula for percentage change to find the new price. Remember, when we have a percentage, we're going to divide it by 100. We're going to multiply here. It will give us the increase amount. It will give us the increased amount. After having an increased amount, we will add the increased amount with the old price, whereby we will get the new price using the percentage. Calculating the missing values in the table using the inflation or inflation rate. At some point, we will have tables whereby we will fill the missing values. Most of the time, the missing values are filled in the table. We will see as we proceed, we have examples whereby we have tables where we have to fill the missing values. Context and applications. Understand the impact of inflation on daily life and financial planning. You don't just have to calculate. Remember, mathematical literacy is a subject that we experience some of the things in everyday life that we live in. We don't just calculate in mathematical literacy. Some of the things we take them from the book into practice, whereby you should understand the impact of inflation on daily life. Remember, you used to buy 10 biscuits with 1 rand. Now you can no longer afford to buy 10 biscuits with 1 rand. You can only get 2. That means that thing, it's an impact in your life. It impacts your life. That is why you have to understand the impact of inflation on daily life and financial planning, because of sometimes there will be questions to say, how does inflation affect destitute people? Therefore, you have to understand, after doing calculations, how does it affect the people? Explain the effects of inflation. Same applies with the understanding the impact of inflation. The objective continues. It decreases purchasing power of money. Inflation decreases purchasing power of money. For an example, if you used to buy 10 biscuits with 1 rand, but now you can only buy 4 biscuits with the same amount of money, then it shows that 1 rand does not have the same buying power anymore like before. Because of you used to get 10, now with the same amount you get 4. That means it has decreased the purchasing power of money. It also affects the savings and investment. Remember, if you are saving money, let's say you are saving 1,000 every month, then the food and goods and services increases. That means you are no longer going to be able to save the same amount of money, because of we have to use more to buy the grocery this time around. Then lastly, it says inflation can lead to lower production and higher unemployment. Someone can ask, how does inflation affect higher unemployment? Remember, for an example, if we used to drink Twiza, Twiza, it was 10 rand, but now Twiza, it's 20 rand. Most of the people won't be able to afford to buy Twiza anymore. And the more they don't afford to buy Twiza anymore, the Twiza company will not produce more of Twiza. That is why we talk of lower production. And the more they don't produce more, that means they have to pay the workers. And as long as they don't produce more, that means they are no longer making a profit. And remember, a business, when it doesn't make a profit, sometimes the business shut down. And at the moment the business shut down, it goes to high unemployment, because of people who will be retrenched because of the affordability of people, because of inflation. Let's continue. the types of graphs that can be used to present inflation. I made two examples of the graphs that can be used that are commonly used to represent inflation. We have a line graph. It is best for showing change over time. It shows change over time. Why are we using it? Inflation is measured year by year or month to month. A line graph shows if inflation is increasing, decreasing, or stays stable. As we can see, our line here, it doesn't go constant. It goes up and down, up and down. It simply means it shows increasing and decreasing and staying constant. Let's go to another one. We have a bar graph. It is best for comparing inflation rates for different years. Best for comparing inflation rates for different years, because of if you can compare, even any learner can see here for August 2022 and June 2022. These graphs are not the same. There is the one that is big and there is another one that is low. So it will be simple for learners to compare the two. Why are we using it? Is it to compare which year had the highest or the lowest inflation? Like I said, if we can compare August 2022 with June 2022 and asking a learner which year had the highest. The highest, that means it will be June because of it is high in height. Then the lowest, it will be August 2022. As we proceed, I have a small video here that entails how inflation affects businesses and how inflation affects lives. Can we please watch the video before we proceed?
Kotas on Wheels. Palisa deals with inflation. News of Palisa's business, Kotas on Wheels, has spread, and since she bought the new bakkie, business is booming. But her team manager, Puti, is not happy. "I have a family to feed," she says, "and we're struggling. Everything is much more expensive this year." Palisa does some investigating. Puti is right. Even the ingredients for her kotas have increased in price. Polony was 28 Rand per roll when we last bought it. Now it's 32 Rand. Potatoes are now 50 Rand for a big bag, up from 45 Rand. "It's hard to believe. I paid 130 Rand for 5 liters of sunflower oil last year," she says. "Now the price is 210 Rand for the same amount. That's an increase of 80 Rand. How do sellers decide how much to add to their prices? Why does this even happen? It's called inflation. Inflation tells us how much the same amount of our money can buy as time passes. Inflation is a measure of the change in the buying power of money over time. Think about it. What can you buy with 100 Rand? In 2021, you could buy 8 loaves of bread for 100 Rand with 4 Rand change left over. In 2022, 100 Rand will buy you less. You can only buy 7 loaves of bread and you would have to pay in an extra 5 Rand. Prices of goods increase at different rates. Bread increased by 25%. Polony increased by 14.29%. Potatoes increased by 11.1%. And sunflower oil increased by a massive 61.5%. So we measure an average rate of increase across different goods. This is called the average inflation rate. We can use graphs to compare the inflation from year to year. If we compare the average inflation rate over 4 years, from 2019 up to 2022, we can see that it varies. Sometimes it goes up and sometimes down. It increases some years and decreases in other years. In 2022, the average inflation rate was 5.73%, but 2023 is predicted to have an inflation rate of 4.65%. Does that mean we'll pay less for food in 2023? Unfortunately not. the prices of the things we buy increased from 2021 to 2022 by an average of 5.73%. And prices for 2023 will increase by a further 4.65%. Although the inflation rate has decreased, as we see on the graph, the actual prices continue to increase, just by a smaller amount. Prices will only go down if the inflation rate is negative, that is below 0%. With all of this in mind, Palesa and Phuthi look at their expenses and the sale price for their gotas. If Palesa wants to pay Phuthi and the rest of her staff more, she must increase the price of gotas. They've been selling their gotas for 20 Rand for 2 years. So Palesa thinks an increase to 25 Rand per gota is fair. As a percentage, the increase is 5 Rand out of 20 Rand times by 100. That's 25%. That sounds like a big increase. But Palesa's fixed expenses have increased and the cost of ingredients has increased too. This will be the first price increase in 2 years. So 5 Rand more for a gota is not too much. It also means that Palesa can offer her team a 15% salary increase. First, she checks how a salary increase will affect her expenses. Then she compares that with the new expected income as a result of the gota price increase. She's happy that she'll still make a profit. Phuthi wants to know how much a 15% increase will be if her salary is currently 20,000 Rand. The increase means Phuthi now earns 23,000 Rand. Phuthi is very happy, and so is Palesa, who now understands inflation and how to keep her employees happy and the price of her gotas just right.
Okay, thank you very much. After watching this video of Palesa, we then realized from the previous slides when we spoke of high unemployment that will be made by inflation. Remember, the more the food and goods and items increase, your salary also needs to be increased. So if the business is not making a profit, your salary won't be increased. That means most of the people will be retrenched or the company will close. That will lead to high unemployment. As we can see on the video that inflation deals with price increase. Everything will increase either month to month or a year to year, but there will be an increase despite of how much percentage it will be, but there will be an increase. It doesn't mean if you are interpreting the graph. Therefore, you have a graph whereby this year the inflation was 5.4%, then the other year the inflation was 2.4%. That 2.4%, it doesn't mean it's an increase. It's still an increase of 2.4%. Unlike the previous year, the increase, it was 5.4%. Now we have a problem statement to solve for Palesa. Whereby, remember, we also had the objectives where we said we will fill the missing values in the table. Here is a table that we're going to fill the missing values in. Therefore, we go for Paloni. The current price of Paloni was 28 Rand. Then the new price, it is 32 Rand. Therefore, we have to fill the missing values of increase in price, percentage increase. Whereby when we increase in price, when we want increase in price, we will say new price, which is 32 Rand minus 28 Rand, so that we can see by how much did the Paloni increase. Therefore, our answer will be 4 Rand. It tells us the Paloni has increased by 4 Rand. Therefore, we go for bread. We also do the same by saying the new price, which is 15 Rand minus 12 Rand. It tells us the bread has increased by 3 Rand. Therefore, we go for potatoes. Therefore, for potatoes, we say 50 Rand minus 45 Rand. Our answer will be 5 Rand. Therefore, we go for oil. We say the new price, which is 210 minus 130. Our answer will be 80 rand. That tells us the oil price has took a strong hike than the other items that Palesa uses. That's how we calculate the increase in price. Now we wanted the price, not the percentage. And remember, the price is an amount. It's an amount. Now we have to deal with percentage increase. Remember, my learners, I said, for percentage increase, there's a formula that we use. There's a formula we use for percentage increase whereby we say percentage increase is equals to price difference divided by old price multiplied by 100. Or you can say percentage increase is equal to new price minus old price multiplied by 100 divided by old price. Let's work out the Paloni. The Paloni will say new price is 32 rand minus 28 rand divide by 28 rand multiply by 100. Let's see by how much percentage did Paloni increase. Our answer will be 14.29%. It will be 14.29%. Now we want percentage increase. Our answers should be in a form of percentage. Our answers should be in the form of percentage. We go for bread. For bread, we will say 15 rand minus 12 rand divide by 12 rand multiply by 100. Our answer will be 25%. 25%. We go for potatoes. For potatoes, we will say 50 rand minus 45 rand divide by 45 rand multiply by 100. Our answer will be 11.11%. Therefore, lastly, for oil, as we can see, the difference for oil is 80 rand. That simply tells us, even in a percentage, when we want percentage for oil, we can get more percent than other items. Let's see how much does it gives us as a percentage. Whereby we will say 210 minus 130 divide by 130 multiply by 100. Whereby we will get it's not amount, it's a percentage eraser. We will get a pen. We will get 61.54%. It clearly shows you that the oil price has hiked very much than the other items. That's how we calculate the percentage increase. Your answer should be in a form of percentage. By how much percentage did those items increase? In terms of percentage, the Paloni increased by 14.29%. In terms of amount, the Paloni has increased by 4%. You should know and how to work with percentage and also work with the amount to see by how much. Therefore, we go for number one. Now we have helped Palesa to see by how much and by what percentage did the items increase. We go for number one. The original cost of making 20 quarters was 390, including fixed cost and variable cost. The reason we include fixed cost and variable cost is because of it is a business. It is a business. A. Calculate the new cost of 20 quarters if all cost has increased by an average of 12% due to inflation. Therefore, it has increased by 12%. 20 quarters cost 390. Then they say it has increased by an average of 12%. We're going to say multiply by 12 over 100. Now we want the new cost. We want the new cost. The amount that we're going to get is an increase. After calculating here, the amount that we're going to get is an increase. Our increase is 46.80. Our increase is 46.80. That means this 12%, when we work it out as an increase of 390, we get 46.80 rand. Therefore, the question said calculate the new cost, not an increase only, the new cost. So for us to get the new cost, that means the new cost must be above 390 because of the amount is inflated. Therefore, we're going to say 46.8, which is an increase, plus 390, which was the previous price before the increase. Therefore, let's check the new cost of the quotas will be 436.8. Learners should understand the difference between calculating the increase amount and the new cost. When you calculate the increase amount, you're gonna end here by how much it has increased. But when you calculate the new cost, you're gonna take the increase and add it with the old price so that you can get the new cost. That means now after the increase of 390, the quota is 20 quotas will cost 436.80. Let's go for B. Palesa increases the selling price of a quota from 20 to 25 rand. By what percentage has the price increased? By what percentage? That means if the question says this, your answer should be in a form of percentage. Your answer should be in a form of percentage. But if you can go back for A, it says the new cost, your answer should be in a form of amount. But now it says by how much, by what percentage, sorry, it says by what percentage. So your answer should be in a form of percentage. Let's work it out. Remember, when we calculate percentage increase, we say price difference divided by old price multiply by 100, whereby we're gonna say price difference. Remember I said you take the new price, you say new price which is 25 rand minus old price which is 20 rand, divide by old price which is 20 rand, multiply by 100. Let's see how much it gives us from 20 to 25 rand. That 5 rand difference in terms of percentage, how much does it make? It gives us 25%. That means it's an increase of 25%. From 20 rand to 25 rand as a percentage, it gives us 25%. Now we have helped Palesa to solve a problem based on the video that we had previously. Let's proceed. Then we have another work example whereby we will be calculating the new price. Here already I answered the questions for you. It says if goods cost 200 rand and the average inflation rate is 8%. For that year, the price of goods will increase to 260. We have three values here. We have 200, we have 8%, we have 260. Here, the first question, it says to calculate the price increase, price increase, by how much by how much it has increased, by how much it has increased. For us to get an answer, the previous price, it was 200. We say 200 multiplied by 8% over 100, we get 16 rand. That tells us this goods has increased by 16 rand because of it says price. Our answer should be in a form of amount. It's a 16 rand. That's how you calculate the price increase. You take the old price, you multiply it by the average inflation increase, then you divide it by 100. The amount that you get there, it's an increase. We go to how to calculate the new price. The first, the one on top, we were calculating the price increase. That how much does it increase by? Now we calculate the new price. Remember, it has increased by 16 rand. Now we have to calculate the new price. So for us to calculate the new price, we have two methods here. You can say 200 multiplied by 108 over 100. It gives you exactly 260. Remember, it was 200. Now it's 216. Where does this 16 come from? It comes from the price increase that we got here. Automatically, it is added here. Or the other learner might say 200, which is the cost of goods, the previous one, plus the price increase, which is 16 rand, because of now we want the new price after the increase. Then our increase is 16 rand. Plus 16 rand, it will give us 260. It will give us 260. We proceed. We go to inflation rate. We go to inflation rate. My learners, this formula, please know it by head. Just know it by head, in case it won't appear. In case it won't appear. Remember, when we talk of a rate, we talk of a percentage. When we talk of a rate, we talk of a percentage. Now we calculate the inflation rate of the same item that was 200. Now it's 260. Remember, they said the average inflation rate, it was 8%. Now we want to see how did they get that 8%. Now we take 216, it's our new price. 216 is our new price after the increase of 16 rand from 200. Therefore, this 200 is an old price. It's an old price where we minus by 216 divided by old price multiply by 100. Therefore, we get that 8% that they said it was an average. It was an average inflation rate. That 8% comes from here. That 216 comes from here. That 200, it was the goods cost. Therefore, we are done with the calculations. Let's see. Word example. Remember, we said inflation can be interpreted either in line graph or a bar graph. Now we have a bar graph. Before we can go to the questions, I want us just to look on this bar graph. Let's have a look on 2004 and have a look at 2008. Have a look here, 2008. In 2004, average consumer price inflation was 1.4%. It doesn't mean when this graph is low, the inflation went down. No. Inflation goes up despite it's how much percentage or by how many percentage. It always goes up year to year. But for this year, it was 1.4%. But in 2008, the inflation went up to 11.5% for that year. Then by 2009, it was 7.1%. It doesn't mean from 11.5% the inflation went down to 7.1%. No. Remember, the prices of items of 2008 has an inflation of 11.5. They had a new price. If something in 2008, it was 800 after the increase of 11.5%. When we come to 2009, for adding this 7.1%, we're still going to say 800 multiplied by 7.1% over 100. That shows this 800 will have an increase on top of it. That's how inflation it is. It's like a compound interest. If you remember the compound interest increased year to year. I hope you get me, colleagues. Let's go define the term inflation within the given context. Learners should know how to define the terminologies. That is why in my introduction, I defined the terminologies because of, remember nowadays in mathematical literacy, we have question 1 with a 10 marks of terminologies. So every terminology, when we open the topic, or we start with the topic, we should define the terminology so that learners should know. And inflation rate, it's an average increase on annual consumer price over a period of time. Because of the context, we included the average annual consumer inflation in price. Because of that context, we have to include average annual consumer. Learners should know how to put the context on the definitions. Because of some of the learners, they will only answer inflation by knowing it's a price increase, a general price increase over a period of time, but without including the context. And if it's like that, just know, my learner, you're gonna get 0 because of there's no context and the question set in a given context. Because every graph, it has a heading. That heading, we will use it as a context. If it's not a heading, there will be a scenario. That scenario, we will use it as a context. 3.2. In which year was the inflation rate highest? In which year? Now we are interpreting the graph. In which year? In which year? As we can see in our graph, year at the bottom here, it's years. Then on our left-hand side, we have percentages. So it says in which year was the inflation the highest? We're gonna go and look for the highest bar graph out of them all. We go and check that 11.5% is the highest, but for which year? For 2008. That means 2008. It was the year 2008. 2008, it is the year whereby inflation was the highest. Then what is the difference? The difference, remember this word, when I said price difference. When I said price difference, remember, my learners, I said you're gonna minus. What? I don't know, but you're gonna minus at an ultimate end, you're gonna minus it. Just bear that in your mind that when you come across this word, difference that you minus, when you come against this weight rate, there's no we talk of percentage. But we're gonna minus. Let's hear what the question wants. Because of most of the time we should answer what the questions want, not what we want or what we know. Let us answer the question. What is the difference in inflation rate between the years 2004 and 2023? The difference 2004 and 2023. We go for 2004. 2004 we had 1.4%. Then 2023 we had 6%, 6.0%. It's 1.4 and 6.0%. Therefore, we answer the question. We say 6.0 minus 1.4%. It's percentages. 6.0 minus 1.4%. Our answer will be 4.6%. Our answer will be 4.6%. Remember, we said what? We said we minus the weight difference. We minus. Now we minus the 6% by 1.4%. It's like a range. Remember, range, you minus the big with the smallest. Therefore, we proceed. Remember, inflation goes down. It doesn't mean that goods and services become cheaper. Standard Coke. Question, please. Standard Coke. All right, let's proceed. Colleagues, if you have a question, you may just raise up your hand, or if you feel like I'm running fast, or you can type on the chat box. If you feel like you have a question, you seek a clarity, or you feel like I'm running fast, because of, remember, we have different learning types of learners. Remember, if inflation goes down, it doesn't mean that goods and services become cheaper. Like I said, in 2022, inflation will go to 7%. Then in 2023, inflation will be 2.3%. Remember, I said it works like a compound interest. The same amount that we closed with in 2027, we're going to use that amount and add inflation on top of it. This is what the statement means. So tell your learners, or my learners, hear me out, that if you see the graph of inflation goes down, that doesn't mean the inflation it becomes cheaper. No, it doesn't become cheaper. The prices will always go up because of inflation. It says it's an increase. It's an increase. The prices are still increasing. They are just increased at a lower rate. That means if in 2025 we had an average percentage increase of 16%. Then in 2026, we have an average percentage increase of 4%. That means for this year, they are increasing, but at a lower rate, not a higher rate. Hope you get it, that when we deal with inflation, just know the prices will always go up. They will never go down when we deal with inflation. We have activity 4. It's a reverse calculation. It's a reverse calculation where we have to check before, what was the original price before the increase. Because we've been working with the amounts whereby we add an increase and see the new price. Now we want the price before the increase. We call it a reverse calculation. There the scenario says 4.1. The price of a Nike shoes in 2014 was 650.95. It was. What was the price of the Nike shoes in 2013? If the inflation rate for 2013 was 6.4%. If the inflation rate for 6.4 or for 2013 was 6.4%. So we have the amount of 650.95. That's the only amount that we have. We have 2 different years. One amount, 1 percentage. So now we have 695. We're gonna multiply it by 6.4%. This 6.4%, therefore, and divide it by 106.4. We're gonna divide it by 106.4. Now let's stop here for learners to understand, to say, why are you dividing 6.4% by 106.4%? Unlike saying 6.4 over 100 over 100. Sorry, why are we dividing 6.4 by 106.4? Unlike saying 6.4 over 100. I want to show you the difference between the two. Here, when we say 6.4 over 106.4, that means we are taking out this 6.4% out of this the 100% amount of 650.95. That will tell us that it's 39.50. It's 39.50. Therefore, we will go by saying, I will come to this one of 100. Therefore, it will give us 39.50. That means the increase from 2013 to 2014, it was 39.50. Therefore, we want the previous price without the increase. So for us to get the previous price without the increase, we're gonna say 650.95 minus the previous increase, which is 39.50, which is 39.15. Therefore, for 2013, the shoes were 611.8. It was 611.8. Or we have another method that we can use. We have another method that we can use by so saying 650.95 multiply by 100 over 106.4. That means the moment we divide this 100 by 106.4, we are taking out the increase or the percentage increase so that we can get the 100% of this amount without the increase. So that we can get the 100% of this amount without the increase. Same applies of this, what happens this side. Remember, this one will cancel this one and this one will cancel this one. That means we'll have the 100% of this amount without the increase. Same applies with this method. That means we are taking the 100% of this amount without the increase. Let's see if we have the same answer. Our answer will be 611.80. That means the price before the increase of 6.4% in 2024. The price in 2013 of the sneakers, it was 611.80 before the increase. That means we worked backwards. That is why you see here, we minus. This method, it gives us by how much the sneakers increased about. It increased. It gives us by how much. This method, you will see that the sneakers increased by 39 rand 15 cents. Therefore, we are working backwards. Therefore, we have to minus. We are not increasing. We want the previous price before the increase. That means the increase, it was 39 rand 15 cents. Therefore, we minus it to get 611.8. But this method, this side, takes you straight to the answer without showing you by how much the sneakers has increased before. I hope you get it, colleagues. It's a reverse calculation for inflation. Let's proceed. So we have 4.2. We continue with the reverse calculations. We continue with the reverse calculation. Yeah. Okay. Please, my learners and educators, can you please take the screenshot of this slide, because of we're gonna erase some information here to make a space for us to do the calculation, because of it seems like we congested the typing. Thank you. All right, sorry for that, colleagues. We just wanted to add a new slide for calculations. Now we have 4.2. The inflation rate in America for 2021 was 7%, and in 2020 it was 1.4%. The price of a Ford F-Series vehicle in 2021 is 32,332. It is stated that the price of the Ford F-Series vehicle in 2019 was more than 29,800 USD. Verify, showing all calculations whether the statement is valid. It's an opinion question. It's an opinion question whereby some learners will get it right and forget to say the statement is valid or not valid. So if you have something like this in a question whereby they say verify, you should know your final answer is an opinion whereby you will say the statement is valid or invalid. Remember, inflation works like compound interest. Inflation it's an inflation upon inflation. Like I said, it works like a compound interest. It increases every year from the previous amount. So let's work this out. I'm going to read the question again so that we can go and work it out on a clean slide. The inflation rate in America for 2021 was 7%. In 2020, it was 1.4%. The price of a Ford F series vehicle in 2021 is 32,332. It is stated that the price of the Ford F series vehicle in 2019, it was more than 29,800. That means we're going to work out 2021 and go to 2020, then our final answer that we're going to get from 2020, it will represent 2019. We have 2 percentages, which is 7 for 2021. We have 1.44 for 2020. Let's work it out, colleagues. It's 4.2. We'll start by saying 2021. Whereby the price it was of the vehicle is 32,332 USD multiplied by 7% over 107. Remember, we are working backwards. And I said, when we work backwards, we want 100% of the amount before the increase. That is why you see, we say 7 divided by 107. We want that 100% of the amount before the increase. Remember, the amount has increased by 7%, which makes it 32,332. Now we want 100% of the amount before the increase, how much it was before we increase it by 7%. So it tells us it has increased by 2,115,80. Remember, we have 2 methods. I'm using 2 methods, whereby the first method will show you by how much was the increase. The second method will go straight to an answer without showing how much the amount has increased. So this one, the first method, is whereby you will see that this 7%, it was 2,115,80. Therefore, we have to minus it because of we were working backwards. We are working backwards, we will say 32,332 minus the increase of 2,150,80. Therefore, our answer will be 30,216,82. That tells us in 2021, the price of Ford F series before the increase of 7%, the price before the increase, it was 30,216,82 USD. It was 30,216,82. Then the increase, it was 2,115,80. The one that when we add the 2, we go to the next stage, it gives us 32,332. But now we are working backwards. We minus it so that we can get the price before the increase. That means in 2021, the price before the increase, it was 30,216. Remember, I said I have 2 methods. And remember, my learners, when you say or, your answer must be the same as the first answer. The only thing that should be different should be the method. Because of the moment you're going to give us or, and you give us the 2 different final answers, we're going to mark the first one. And mind you, remember, you will be getting the second one right and the first one wrong. Remember, so the rule says we mark the first one. So if the first one is wrong, it's a pity. We cannot say, but the second one is correct. We want you, when you say or, to be 100% sure of what you are writing. The answers must be the same and show us different methods. So remember the second method I said, we still say 32,332 multiply by 100 over 107. That gives us 30,216,80. You see, answers are the same. The answers are the same, but the methods are different. The methods are different. Remember the 100% that I spoke of, that we want the 100% of this amount before the increase. That is why on this side we divide by 100. That is why this side we divide by 100. It's still the same in this side because of this 7 will cancel this 7. We're still going to have that 100% of this amount before the increase. But for this side, we divided by 7 out of 107 to see, for learners who want to see by how much it has increased so that they can know. Remember, we calculate inflation in 3 ways. We want the increase, we want the new price, we want the percentage. So for now, we are dealing with the percentage and the increase and the new amount, but in a reverse calculations. So we're done with 2021. Remember, we had 2 years. We are done with 2021. We had also to deal with 2020. We are done with 2021. We still have to deal with 2020 so that we can get the final answer of 2019 for how much it was in 2019. So let's go for 2020. For 2020. For 2020, we say 30,260,82 multiply by 1.4 over 101,4. Your answer will be 417,19 USD. It will be 417,19 USD. Remember, on the previous slide, let's go a little back on the previous slide, where we said, remember, inflation works like a compound interest. Let's see what we are doing here. We have 2021. If you remember, compound interest, we work it year to year. We have 2021, we have 2020, and remember, in the compound interest, we take the closing amount of the previous year, where then we started the new year with it. Here it is. We took that closing amount of 2021 and we started with 2020. It's like we are doing a compound interest. Now I believe you have a clear overview of what we were saying when we said inflation works like a compound interest. So now this 417, it's not a final answer. It's an amount that it was charged in 2020 for this amount of a car to be 30,216. Now we have to subtract it to see how much it was. How much it was before the increase. We will say 30,216,80. 4,80. It's 82. Sorry, it's 82. By 82 minus 417,90. Let's see how much we get. The amount that we get, it will be the amount of 2090. The amount that we get, it will be the amount of 2090. Therefore, because of the amount of 2020, it was 30,260. So now we are working towards the amount of 2019. By minusing this, that means we are going straight to 2019 because of this 417 forms the part of 2020 increase. So we say our final answer will be 29,000. It's 29,799. Let me come this side. It seems like we are having problem. Our final answer is 29,799,63. Therefore, remember, we still have another method. Another method is whereby we will say 30,216,82 multiply by 100% over 101.4. Therefore, our final answer will be 29,799.63. That means in 2019, the value of the car, it was 29,799.63. Let's go back and check. Let's go back and check what was the answer. The question was saying. The question said, it is stated that the price of the Ford F series vehicle in 2019 was more than. It was more than 29,800. Let's check our answer. That means if our answer is 29,801, that means the statement will be valid. But if our answer is less than 29,799, that means the statement will be invalid according to the statement that was provided. Let's go and check our answer. Our answer is 29,799.63, but on the statement they said it was more than 29,800. If you can check the two, there's a huge difference here. It is not more than 29,800. Therefore, it tells that our statement is invalid. Our statement is invalid. It's a level 4 question that needs opinion. We work year to year like a compound interest. Now we got our answer. I just want you to have a look, colleagues, on how we do the reverse calculation. When it comes to percentage, we no longer divide by 100% as it is. We no longer divide by 100% as it is. When we do backwards, which is reverse calculation, we want the 100% of this amount before the increase. So for us to get that, if it has increased by 17%, it's going to be 117 this side. So that this 17 can take out this 17, we left with 100% of this amount before the increase. Let's proceed. Remember I said, if you have a question, you may raise up your hand. Or if you feel like you need some clarity, you may also raise up your hand. But we will also open for questions before the end of the presentation. Number 5, word example. A liter of milk cost 9 rand 11 cents. The expected inflation rate will be 6.5%. What will the price? The price. Colleagues, when you answer the questions, look for what the question wants. It spoke of inflation rate, but the question says what will be. That means we don't have to answer our question by giving percentage. No, our answer should be in a form of price, because of the question says what will be the price. Yes, we are given the inflation rate, we are given the price, but we want the price. So for us to get the price, we're gonna say 9 rand 11 cents multiply by 6.5 over 100. By 6.5 over 100. Let's see how much does it gives us. Our answer will be the increase amount, which is 0.59215. But we want, what will the price of the milk be? That means it simply says we want the new price here. Because of what will the price of the milk be? It won't be this. This is an increase amount. We want the new price of the milk. Not all the time it will say we want the new price of the milk. We want the new price of the milk. Like I said, when you calculate the inflation rate, it won't always say new price minus old price. Sometimes it will say price difference. Now we want the new price of the milk, what will be. Therefore, we say this increased amount plus the old price of the milk, which was 11 rand, 9 rand, 11 cents. That means our answer will be, the new price of the milk will be 9 rand 70 cents. The new price of the milk will be 9 rand 70 cents. We go for another question. 5.2. A box of cookies increased in price from 17 rand 99 to 19 rand 99. That means here already we can see, because we've been doing this a lot. We have already, a learner can identify this is an old price, this is a new price. By figures, a learner can now identify. And if we have these two prices, a learner can also think of, we might calculate the inflation rate, because of we don't have a percentage, we only have two amounts, and when we have two amounts, we should get a percentage. That's how inflation works. Therefore, a box of cookies increased in prices from 17 rand 99 to 19 rand 99. Calculate the inflation rate. Remember when you spoke of rate, the word rate, that means our answer should be a percentage, colleagues. When you come across the word rate, our answer should be the percentage increase. It's a percentage increase. Therefore, we are given the formula whereby they say inflation rate is equal to new price. Remember our new price. Since you identified the new price, our new price is 19 rand 99 minus the old price. Our old price, it was 17 rand 99. It was 17 rand 99. We divide it by our old price. Our old price is still 17 rand 99. It's still 17 rand 99, therefore multiply it by 100. Remember, we said our answer should be a percentage. That means we want by how much percentage it has increased from 17 rand 99 to 19 rand 99. That means our answer will be 11.12%. Our answer will be 11.12%. Colleagues, like we said, this thing will also help us to help our parents when we go to the shops with them. Remember, our parents, the only thing that they know is figures, these figures. But some of our parents, they don't know how to work with percentage. They only know figures, but they don't know how to work with percentage, because of sometimes they will say, next year the policy will increase. Remember, these policies, they will tell you of percentages, not amount. They will not say the policy of Asapol will increase by 200. No, because of they know you will see a huge difference of from the amount that you are paying to 200. So they will send you a message, or your parent a message, to say the policy will increase by 6.5% from the next year financial year. So since you have learned of inflation and know how to work with percentage, you will help your parent to say, we were paying 250 mother. They are saying this thing will increase by 6.5%. That means we're going to multiply by 6.5% over 100. The amount that we're going to get there, mother, is the amount of the increase. It's an increase amount from the policy. This subject will also help you to help your parents. Remember what did I say at the beginning, that mathematical literacy is what we live on daily basis. So our parents know only of this, but for us, we went to school and we learned mathematical literacy. Now we can help them with the percentages. When they say something is increasing by this percentage, so you work it out to say, mother, it is increasing by this, therefore we're still gonna survive or we're not gonna survive. Thank you. Then let's proceed. Number 6. Company ABC Ltd is offering their mechanics a salary increase of 9.7% per annual. This PA, it becomes a problem to some learners, because of sometimes they will say, explain what is meant by agronomy PA. You should know it's per annum or per annual. It's per annum or per annual. The Union of Mechanics disagrees and proposes a salary increase of 12.4% per annum. The average annual salary of a mechanic working at ABCD Ltd is 165,000 per annum. A lot of information that will confuse some of learners. There's a lot. There's a company, there's a union. The reason why I put this slide where I will talk of a company and the union, remember, as food prices goes up, salaries also need to go up so that people can meet the living life. Because of you cannot get 5,000, whereas the food are increasing every year for 5 years, food increase. Remember, inflation, it happens every year, but you have 10 years of earning 5,000. That means sometimes you cannot afford to buy that grocery anymore, but you are still working. That is why we find so many strikes whereby the companies will go to strike to seek an increase because of this inflation. Inflation also affects the salaries of people because of the higher the prices of the goods and services. That is why I put this slide so that we can also work it out so that we can know why people are going to strike, why people need an increase on the salaries. Is because of an inflation. It also affects it. And the more people go to strikes, it also affects the companies because of they have to pay more, even if they don't produce more, but they have to pay more for workers. Here we have a question. What is the difference? We come across against that word again, the difference. Remember, Metzlit, we only deal with language. So if we are not aware, we deal with a language. What is the difference in a salary? You're gonna minus. Where? We don't know. But in your answer, there should be a minus because of that word. You cannot complete an answer without minusing. You cannot complete an answer without minusing, whereas the question said, what is the difference? We don't know why you're going to minus, but you're going to minus, we will see when we get there. But it should appear in your answer. What is the difference in salary per month? It says per month. And remember, we are given the salary per annum. And annum is 12 months. It's 12 months. Now we want it per month. You see, we're going to work it out to that 6 months. Because of there's a difference there's per month between what the company is offering and the union is proposing. That means we're going to make the difference between the company. If the company says we give you 9.7%, we're going to work out 9.7% of 165,000 for company. Therefore, we come for the union again to say we're going to work 12.4% of 165,000. Therefore, that will be there. This guy will come in, and also this guy will come in. Let's work it out. We start with the company. We say 165,000 multiply by 9.7 over 100. It gives us how much? It gives us 16,000. It gives us 16,000 rand. We say plus 165,000. Remember, it's an increase. They demand an increase. That is why we add here. They demand an increase. This time around, we don't work backwards. We work forward. They want an increase. Therefore, our final answer will be 181,005. This amount is for per annum. Remember, we used this for per annum, but the question said per month. If we recall well, the question said per month. Therefore, we have, remember, we said from per annum, it's 12 months. Now we want per month. Our final answer is going to be divided by 12 so that we can get how much a mechanic can get per month after the increase of 9%, 9.7% from the company. The mechanic will get 15,083.75. That means from the increase of the company, the mechanic will get 15,083.75. Remember, where does this 12 come from? And why did we divide it by 12? Because of the question said per month. And per annum, we have 12 months. This amount and percentage, this two, it was per annum. It was per annum. Even our interest money and increased money, it was for per annum because of we worked this two per annum. Therefore, we go by saying for the union, let's see what the union offers. How much union offers? Union, we say 165,000 multiply, it offers 12.4%. It offers 12.4% over 100. It gives us how much? It gives us 20,460 per annum. Then we add it with 165,000. Let's see how much does it gives us. It gives us 185,000. 185,460. 460. Therefore, we have to divide it by 12 because of the question said per month. Remember, the question said per month. We have to divide it by 12. It gives us how much? It gives us 15,000. It gives us 15,455. Now we have what the union offers and what the company offers per month. The union offers 15,455 per month. Then the company, it will be 15,083.75. Now we want that difference. Remember, we said we're gonna minus. Where does that minus comes in? What is the difference in salary per month between the company and the company is offering and the union? That means we're gonna minus our final answers. We're gonna minus our final answers, whereby our difference will be the highest, which is 15,455 minus this one is for the union minus what the companies offer, so that we can see the difference and 83.75. Therefore, it gives us the difference is they differ with 371.25. That's where the difference comes in, where we minus. That's where the difference comes in. Now we answered the question fully because of we did the difference. We did per month. We used this 9.17 and we also used 12.4% and we also used 165,000 rand. There's nothing that came from our mind to say, let me use 2. No, you only use the information that is given there. The information on the scenario that will always be given, it will be the one that you will always use. Let's proceed. Continue. The same question. It's the same question. 6.2. Determine the annual salary of a mechanic if the company and the union negotiations result in an increase that met both parties halfway. Remember, halfway it's 1/2. It's a half. It's a 1/2. Or whatever that you get, you're gonna divide it by 2. Whatever that you're gonna get on top, you're gonna divide it by 2. Remember, I said we are dealing with language here in mathematical literacy. You should know when we say we meet halfway from your home to my home, let's meet halfway. If we the distance between the two homes is 4 kilometers, that means we're gonna divide it by 2. Everyone gonna walk 2 kilometers. It's a halfway, half. It's a halfway. So it says determine the annual salary of a mechanic if the company and the union's negotiations result an increase that met both parties halfway. Let's answer this question. It's 6.2. We have 2 ways of answering it. But remember, I said when you say or, the answer will remain the same. The answer will remain the same. Let's start with the first option. The first option is whereby we're gonna add 9.7 plus 12.4%. They give us 22.1%. Why are we adding this? They say annual salary of a mechanic if the company and the union negotiation results in an increase that met both. We met the percentages of union and company. Then halfway, here comes a halfway. We divide it by 2. Here comes a halfway that we spoke of. We divide this percentage by 2. When we divide this percentage by 2, the new percentage that the workers will get, it will be 11.05%. It will be 11.05%. Now we should determine the salary, an annual salary of a mechanic, because of we have a new percentage after the union and the company met halfway. Both parties met halfway. Therefore, we say 165,000 multiplied by a new percentage of an agreement, which is 11.05 over 100. Our answer will be 18,232.5. Therefore, we say plus, because of it's an increase, 165,000. Therefore, our answer will be 183,232.50. That means after the company and the union met halfway with the percentage for a salary of a mechanic, the new increased percentage will be 11.5%. Remember, I said, how did we get that way? Do we answer the question? They met halfway. They met halfway with what? They met with the percentages. When we met, we added there. Remember, when two people meet, they make two people. They are no longer one. That means we take the percentage of this union, we take the percentage of this company. They met, parties halfway. Then this halfway, we're going to divide those. After they met halfway, we're going to divide it by 2 so that it can give us the new percentage, which is 11.05%. Therefore, now after the agreement, we have to work it out. We have to work out the new percentage of the workers. We should work now the new percentage, which is now 11, is the new one after the agreement. Remember, there will not always be a strike without an agreement. At some point, we should agree on something that will both suit us. Now we have a new percentage of 11.05. Therefore, when we work it out to take the annual salary, remember, it's 165,000 of a mechanic, which is this one. We multiplied by new percentage, the increase for that year, the entire year, because of its annual, it will be 18,232.5. Therefore, we add it with 165 because of it's an increase. That is where we add. Now we get 183,232.50. Remember, I said we have two options. The other option, the other learner might say 165,000 multiplied by the same percentage, 22.1 over 100, then get 36,465, which is an increase, then divide it by 2. It's that halfway. Divided by 2 and give us 232.5. Then we add with 165,000. Our answer will be 183,232.5. You see, different methods, but the answer is the same. These two, here we divided the percentage with 2. This amount, we divided also by 2 because of it comes from this percentage. It's either you divide the percentage by 2 after adding it, or you will divide the increased amount by 2 because of they met a halfway. I think I've clarified everything. Let's proceed. Now we have a line graph. Remember, we said it can be represented through using bar graph or a line graph. Then we also give why we use bar graph, why we use line graph. The best for using them, it's what? Let's check. now we have a line graph of inflation rate. Remember what did we said? We said if the inflation rate was here, it was, let's say for an example, it was 73% here. It was 73% in 1995. Here in 1997, it's, let's say 7%. It doesn't mean the inflation dropped or the prices dropped. No, the inflation says it's an increase, despite it's by how many percent, but it's an increase. It's an increase. That means if a bread it was 80, if for an example, a bread it was 12 rand here, 12 rand 50 here. Therefore, when we come to 1977, the inflation it was 7%. When we work it out to find the new price of the bread, we will say 12 rand, 50 multiply by 7 over 100. Let's say for an example, we get 250. It's for an example. I'm not using a calculator. I'm just making an example. If for an example we get 250, we're gonna say the new price of the bread, it will be 250 plus 12 rand 50. Our answer will be 15 rand. You see, there's an increase despite of how much it has inflated. There's still an increase. That means inflation is an increase. It doesn't matter by how much percentage, but just to know the price will go up from the previous price. When we said we use it like a compound interest, in 1995, it was 12 rand 50. We took that 12 rand 50 and we work it out for 1997. That means it's recurring. We use the closing balance to get another new balance for the new year. So that's how it is. Name the type of a graph illustrated. It's a line graph. We know it's a line graph. Then what is the difference in inflation rate between years 2022 and 1991? 2022 and 1991. 1991, we can say, for an example, we have 11% here. Then 2022, we can say we have 19% here, for an example. Therefore, we are answering the question of the difference. Remember when you said the difference, we minus. That means we're going to minus 19% by 11%. 19% by 11%. Minus 11%. That weight difference. I hope from today, you know, when they talk of a difference, you should know I should minus what with what I don't know, but at an ultimate end, I cannot conclude my answer without minusing. Therefore, if we minus this one, our answer will be 8%. That will be the difference between the two. 7.3 says the price of the milk increased by 13% from the previous year. The previous price of 21 rand 50. Determine the new price. Now again, we want the new price. For us to get a new price, we're gonna use the two, which is 21 rand 50 multiply by 13 over 100. You're gonna get the new increase. It is 21 rand 50 multiply by 13 over 100. Let's see it increased by how much. It has increased by 2 rand 795. Therefore, we're gonna add them all so that we'll round at the final answer plus 21 rand 50. Our final answer will be 24 rand, 30 cents. Our answer will be 24.30 cents. Where do we get that 30 cents? Let me show you how did we get that 30 cents, because of some learners don't know when we have, here we have 295. Remember, in South Africa, we use 2 digits after comma. So for us to round, For us to round for 2 units after comma, we check the third unit. Therefore, if the third unit is 5 and upwards, that means it will affect the next unit. But if the third digit it's 4 downwards, that means it won't affect the digit that is in front of it. Therefore, our answer will be 24, 30, because of this 5 affects this 9 to be 30. That's how we answer it. We got the new price of the milk. Others will say, in conclusion, I didn't want to confuse you of inflation and deflation, because of most of the time things goes up. It's rare you will find things goes down, because of they don't go down. It will be just a special when things they are about to expire and stuff, but the prices don't usually drop. Since I've been in South Africa, I've never saw the price drop after the COVID-19, where the repo rate went down to 7%. But let me just hint you with the deflation. What is the meaning of a deflation? When inflation becomes negative, when inflation becomes negative, it is called a deflation. Deflation is a drop in a general price level of goods and service across the economy. Goods and services become cheaper. That means if you used to buy 4 biscuits with 1 rand, this time around you might get 5. You might get 5 because of what I know, deflation doesn't drop high like inflation. Yeah, when deflation happens, money gains more value because of you were getting 4 biscuits, now you are getting 5. That means you have a value. Your money buys more than it did before. You used to buy 4, now you buy 5. That's the meaning of a deflation. In conclusion, big ideas for learners. Inflation is not just a calculation, it's about your budget, business profit, and the value of money. That means every time if you have a business, when you go and buy something, you should keep the receipt to check the difference, whether things went up or went down. And as much as they go up, what will be your plan of action? Because of the more the things goes up, the more they affect your profit. Remember, mathematical literacy deals with everyday life problem. It's not just about calculation, but the subject prepares you for the future. So that, like I said in the previous slide, you will be able to help your parents, you will be able to help yourself when you deal with percentages and how to calculate the percentages. I think I will open the question platform for the questions by raising up of hands and for clarity. Yeah, colleagues, you can ask the questions. Even learners can ask the questions. The platform is opened by raising up your hand for clarity seeking. Can take me back to any slide that you seek clarity with. Colleagues, you still have time. Ask me, colleagues. Remember, questions are also developing someone. Because I will think I did the best, but I've left some information behind. Colleagues? Colleagues, it seems like you are all okay with the learners. Thank you for the opportunity for tuning in and listening to the presentation of inflation. From Mr. Lebuso and from Jen, we say thank you very much till we meet again. Thank you, colleagues.